A driver didn't reach his intended destination this afternoon, but fortunately he came out of it relatively unharmed. The driver was headed along John F. Kennedy Drive when eyewitnesses tell us the late model Nissan Primera spun out of control after being clipped by a delivery truck. The driver was attempting to overtake in rush hour traffic. The Royal Bahamas Police Force's Road Traffic Division is encouraging drivers to use extreme caution and care when overtaking on high traffic corridors, especially during peak traffic, and as always, buckle up. With the close of the grouper season a little more than 2 weeks away, those in the fishing industry are calling on the government to extend the season, citing bad weather and the impact of the recent hurricane. President of the Bahamas Commercial Fishers Alliance, Adrian LaRoda, is asking government not to close the season December 1st, but consider extending it to January to allow fishermen the opportunity to recoup for losses.
That the open season, if extended, would allow fishermen who suffered losses during the last hurricane and bad weather before that, they would be able to, recover somewhat financially from this, the bad couple of months that we had, as a result of the bad weather, because they weren't able to do a lot of fishing during that time. And right now, the weather is cooperating a bit, so fishermen can now go out and get, harvest grouper, and they can not only supply the domestic market, but most of the restaurants in the country would like to have grouper for the Christmas holidays.
Now, Vice President Keith Carroll says Family Island fishermen who lost their farms and had boats damaged during Hurricane Sandy desperately need the extension. Just this weekend, he had a meeting with fishermen in Long Island.
The government to extend the grouper season only for the December month, for the month of December and probably January, because they're doing very bad in Long Island. And fishermen all over the Bahamas are hating. We had 2 storms this year. Run the boats in, the water's muddy, and they're not making any money.
In other news, the Ministry of Education now pushing to better prepare students for the workforce through its Inspire project. Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald says his ministry is committed to equipping students with the necessary skills, competencies, and knowledge suited for 21st century demands. Fitzgerald says Inspire, an acronym for Investing in Students and Programs for the Innovative Reform of Education, is necessary to fundamentally change the delivery of education.
The question has been asked on many occasions, why do we need Inspire? Inspire is needed because we must fundamentally change the way we deliver education in the Bahamas. The global competitiveness and demands of the 21st century demand that we reform education. There are demands for new thinking, new innovations and creativity, and for a new sense of responsibility. Inspire ensures a solid foundation, starting with early childhood education, which addresses the differentiated learning styles of students at primary schools and offers interventions for schools with special needs.
Now, specific goals of the program center around 3 components: a national framework for technical education and vocational training, investing in the future, and strengthening sector management.
We are extremely pleased with all that has been accomplished through the Inspire project and look with great anticipation for the continued accomplishments and sustainable outcomes of Inspire. Accomplishments like the restructuring of BTVI and its evolution into an institution that awards associate degrees. The standards that have been developed to bring standardization to all preschools in the Bahamas, and all the other accomplishments that have had a positive impact on our educational system. Another great accomplishment is the recent ICT equipment procurement, comprising computers and interactive whiteboards that installed in over 50 computer labs and subject-specific labs in the public schools in the 14 districts throughout the entire Bahamas.
World Diabetes Day will be observed tomorrow. The occasion is being marked by the establishment of the first international chapter of the Save a Leg, Save a Life organization. Guest speaker Dr. Desmond Bell from Jacksonville, Florida, is the founder. He addressed nurses at the Nurses College today.
And our real goal is to reduce lower extremity amputations that are the result of diabetes and complications. And I'm here partly because of World Diabetes Day, but also because we're launching our first international chapter of Save a Leg, Save a Life here in Nassau. So we're really honored, and I'm very, very excited because I know there's a huge need here.
Local Dr. Monique Mitchell is pushing for more preventative steps against diabetes.
Diabetes, as you know, in our country is very prevalent, and it is estimated between 8 and 11% of persons have diabetes. As we know, diabetes is a metabolic disease where there's a problem with the digestion process, and there's not enough insulin to be able to take care of the food that we eat. As a part of having diabetes, there are lots of complications that persons develop because of the high sugar. As a podiatrist, of course, I'm very intimately involved in the complications that are in the feet. And today we're going to be, for this World Diabetes Day, we're going to be looking at the diabetic foot. And the theme is Diabetes 101, Saving Legs and Saving Lives.
The Antiquities Museums and Monuments Corporation is partnering with residents in the Fort Fincastle community to launch a massive cleanup campaign. Corporation Chairman Courtney Strawn says the November 24th initiative is being launched after residents and an independent tour guide pushed for the area to be cleaned up.
Fort Fincastle needs attention. All right? We have in excess of 1 million tourists that visit the area every year, and we have some concerns. The concerns is that it is not clean, it is not groomed, there's an issue with crime. So we thought it best to start the process of first cleaning it up. All right? What is going to happen over the next year or two? You will notice that Fincastle will become one of the major tourist attractions in the Bahamas.
Now, the cleanup campaign will also include other historic sites like the Queen's Staircase, the Water Tower, and the other forts. Strawn says once that is done, work will begin on the historic Water Tower early next year. Now, a cleanup campaign will also be held one day before the massive cleanup effort on Fort Fincastle gets underway. Here's Business Development Manager at the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums Corporation, Nikita Wells-Thompson.
The campaign is mainly on the 24th, this Saturday, from 6 a.m. with focus on the actual historical sites from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. on that Saturday morning. And then we will continue in the outer area until 4 p.m. We have several government agencies that will assist us in this venture. As I mentioned earlier, the Department of Environmental Health, the police department is on board. We have urban renewal as well as Her Majesty's Prison and the GGYA.